the best pay-per-view of the year is tomorrow night. UFC 322 final picks and predictions, boys. These are going to be all my final predictions for every single fight, who I am confidently picking or who I'm most confidently picking and how they're going to win. So before we go ahead and get into the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get it started with the early prelim opener of Vyacheslav Borshev versus Matus Camillo opens up the prelims. The first fight of the night is pretty solid. Lightweight scrap recently added to the card. Camillo was supposed to fight on UFC 321. They moved him to 322, which I'm glad. So he's here. He's fighting Borshev. Borshev, pretty good striker. Well, very good striker, honestly. Russian striker. He does that Russian Kalinka dance at the end of his fights, but we haven't seen him win in a minute because he's been on a bit of a losing streak. Just got subbed by, who did he get subbed by? He got subbed by, oh my goodness. Oh my god, Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney. I was trying to wrap my head around it. Got subbed by Terrence McKinney in like a minute, brutally. Like got guillotined brutally. And Camillo got subbed in his last fight too. So this is kind of the battle of, if Borshev loses this fight, he's out the UFC. Arguably shouldn't be in the UFC 8-6, but I'm gonna go with Matus Camillo as my final pick, my final prediction. I'm gonna go with Matus Camillo to get a submission win. I'm going to say he gets a submission win because I liked what he did in his last fight against a big Gabe Green, who used to be at 170, moved down to 155, was bigger than Matus Camillo. I think Camillo is going to be able to size up well against Borshev, and I think he's going to be able to take down Borshev and get his grappling going and get his BJJ going. So I'm going to go with Matus Camillo to get a round 1 or round 2 rear naked choke. I think it's going to be pretty clean, pretty cut. I think Camillo's still a good prospect. He lost gassing himself out with that leg triangle against Gabe Green, and he just got tired and then got his back taken, got submitted. But I don't see Borshev clipping him on the feet, knocking him out. Borshev doesn't have that crazy one-shot knockout power, and I think Camillo, if he's smart, he's going to come in with a grappling game plan, get the takedown, look for the choke, get a submission win. So give me Matus Camillo as the final pick by submission. We move on. Bysinger, Susurkaya versus Eric McConaughey. Big prospect Susurkayev, trains with Hamzat Chimaev. We talked all sorts about him. Fought 4 days after his Dana White Contender Series debut. Got a submission win against, I'm not going to remember his name. Oh, Eric Nolan. I think it was Eric Nolan. He got a submission win. Pretty good win, but it was sketchy in the first round. But he's fighting Eric McConaughey, guy who's just kind of mid-level. Got knocked out by Ruzi Boyev, beat Cody Brundage, arguably by, I think was it a split decision? I don't know. Very close fight. If you're going tooth and nail with Cody Brundage, I'm going to go with Bysinger, Susurkayev to get this one done by second round knockout up against the fence. I can see him landing a knee. I can see him landing a teep kick, something nice. He's going to be flashy. He's going to make it fun. But once he gets to the top of the division, he's going to struggle. But I'll go Susurkayev round 2 knockout as my final prediction for this fight. We move on. Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein. Klein's a big prospect. There's a huge age gap, 15-year age gap. This is Unk versus new prospect, so it's going to be interesting to see, but I got to go with Klein, man. I got to go with Klein. I can't pick Angela Hill at 40 years old. She hasn't been looking good in her past couple fights. She got grappled up by Yasmin Lucindo, got grappled up by who was the girl before that? Was it Tabitha Rich? I'm not too sure, but she's been grappled up by some of these girls. She's the smaller woman in this fight. I think Fatima Klein's very physical, very aggressive. She pushes a good pace, and I think she'll win this fight either by decision or by submission. I can see her subbing Angela Hill. She's got good ground and pound. She's got good BJJ, but I'm going to go with Fatima Klein. I'll go with decision just because Angela Hill is still tough at 40. I think she'll get stuck on bottom position though, and I think Fatima Klein's going to get a lot of ground control time. So give me Klein by decision as the final pick, the final prediction for this one. We move on. Pat Sabatini, Chepe Mariscal. Close fight, very close fight, and the odds reflect that. But if you haven't seen my video for this week, one of my favorite underdogs is Chepe Mariscal, and he is going to be my pick for this fight. I'm going with Chepe by decision in this one. Pat Sabatini is good. He is good. He's got good grappling. He's shown that in his last fight against, who was it? Oh my goodness. Joanderson Brito grappled him for 15 minutes, looked really good doing it, but I don't think Chepe Mariscal is going to accept bottom like that. I think he's going to reverse positions. He's got really good judo throws. I can see those being a big play and a big part of this fight. So I think Chepe is going to just out-scramble Pat, out-dog Pat, and win this fight 29-28 on all judges' scorecards. So give me Chepe Mariscal by decision as the final pick, the final prediction for this one. We move on. Kyle Dawkins versus GM3, man. GM3 has 57 MMA fights in his career. Absolutely insane numbers. Kyle Dawkins just came back to the UFC after taking a huge, I think he got kicked from the UFC, went to the regional scenes, big winning streak on the regional scenes, and he's back. Just knocked out Michel Pereira. Big resurgence to the UFC for Kyle Dawkins. That was big for him. And I think he's going to win this fight. Even though GM3 is scrappy, you got to watch out for that third round. I think Daukaus is going to come out quick. He's going to look for a fast finish, and I think he's going to get a fast finish. So I'm going to go with Kyle Daukaus, round one, submission. A lot of people have KO just because we saw Kyle Daukaus get a KO against Michel Pereira, and that was a very nice shot. Very, very nice check hook. But I think Kyle Daukaus is going to find the neck of GM3 because I think he's going to hurt GM3 early. I think he will, and GM3 hasn't looked good. He got knocked out by Oleksiejczyk, just kind of dropped and kind of gave up. But when he drops, he's going to shoot in for a takedown or shoot to grab a leg or something, and I can see Kyle Daukaus wrapping up that Darce choke that he loves to throw on people, and he loves to wrap up on people. He's got a lot of submissions. He's got way more submissions than knockouts, and I think GM3 is going to survive getting dropped or being on the ground. He's going to try to grapple Kyle, and I think Kyle's going to wrap up that Darce. He's got good grappling and good submission game of his own, so give me Kyle Daukaus by submission in round one or round two as the final pick for this one. We move on to the main prelims, man. Unfortunately, Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon was canceled. Cody pulled out to, I think, a broken foot. I think he broke his foot like a day before the fight or a couple days before the fight. Kind of crazy work. But Malcolm Wellmaker is now fighting Ethan Ewing, new guy in the UFC. Just brought him in. He's on a pretty big win streak. I think he's on an 8-fight win streak in his MMA career. Lost 2 fights, and now he's on a crazy streak. Good step up for him. This is a good opportunity for him, but it's like a day's notice. Flying to New York, actually, I'm not too sure. He might be from New York. I'm not 100% sure. But Ethan Ewing taking the trip to the UFC now, short notice, fighting a guy in Malcolm Wellmaker who's very dangerous. You have to have a whole camp to prep for him. I truly believe that. So I'm gonna go with Malcolm Wellmaker to get a knockout in this fight. Even though Ewing's never been chinned, he has a massive chin. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna say it as it is. He's got a big chin. He's very hittable. He is fast with his hands, and he could cause a couple issues for Malcolm Wellmaker, but I think Wellmaker's going to pick him apart, find that shot. So give me Malcolm Wellmaker by round one knockout, man. Big performance in MSG. I'm going to go with Wellmaker by knockout as the final prediction. We move on to Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. I've seen a lot of people on Tracy Cortez as an underdog. And I'm going to be honest, I don't believe it. I don't trust it. I'm not siding with that whatsoever. The people that are picking Tracy Cortez, I do get the value side of it. If you are, betting on this one, I do see the value. But I think Aaron Blanchfield's better everywhere that Tracy Cortez is, good at. Everywhere that people say, oh, Tracy Cortez is a good boxer, she's a good wrestler, I think Blanchfield's better. I think she is, and she's fought the better comp. She's younger. Her grappling is just smothering. I think Tracy Cortez is going to be on her back for a lot of this fight, even though she was able to beat Jasmine Jasdavicius, which I respect that win. I think Aaron Blanchfield would beat Jasmine Jasdavicius, and I'm high on Jasmine, but I think Blanchfield is really good. She lost to Manon Fior, who we've seen is the number one contender, clear cut. Her only loss is to Shevchenko. So I think Aaron Blanchfield gets a big win here over Tracy Cortez, fights for the belt. She might fight for the belt next after this win, but give me Aaron Blanchfield to win this fight by decision, 29-28. Maybe I think Tracy Cortez will get around, boxing if they can keep it on the feet. But I see Aaron Blanchfield just being better everywhere this fight goes. So give me Aaron by decision as the final prediction. We move on. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. This is one of the picks that I'm switching from from the last video, the quick picks video. I picked Gregory Rodriguez. I'm going to be picking Roman Kopylov instead. After watching tape, I truly believe that Roman Kopylov is the better striker in this matchup. I think he's the faster striker. Really, really nice jabs. 1-2, 1-2. His combinations are way nicer than Gregory Rodriguez. Rodriguez stomps forward, and I think the reason that Roman Kopylov is the underdog here is just because of the shitty fight that he had in his last one against Costa. If it weren't for that, he would be the favorite, genuinely. And even though Kopylov doesn't have the best ground game, I don't see Rodriguez getting in on his hips, getting big takedowns, holding him down. He did do that to CLD, but I think Kopylov's got good enough movement to stick and move until Rodriguez is tired in that late second, early third, and that's when I think Roman Kopylov's going to pick him apart. Not to mention the amount of scar tissue that Gregory Rodriguez has on his head, on his face. He's been beat up. He's been cut. He's been just whooped for so many fights. He has wars in every single fight, and I just don't think he's ever going to be top 15 level, even though he's going to have bangers. And when we see Gregory Rodriguez on a fight card, we're like, oh, that fight's going to be good. That fight's going to be good. But I do think Kopylov's the cleaner striker, the faster guy. The kicks are going to be nasty, too. The body kicks late when Gregory Rodriguez is tired. Those are going to really, really take a toll on him. So give me Roman Kopylov to get this one done. I'm going to say he gets a third-round TKO. Third-round TKO is what I'm going to call. So give me Roman Kopylov as the final prediction by knockout in the third round. We move on. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. I tried to pick Rodolfo Vieira, and I did hate pick Rodolfo Vieira in my quick picks. I think I did at least, but I'm going to go with Bo Nickel. I hate to do it, but I'm going to go with Bo Nickel with zero confidence. Zero confidence in this, but I'm going to pick Bo Nickel to win this fight by decision for a couple reasons. One of the reasons being I see this playing out the exact same way as the Paul Craig fight. I don't see it playing out any differently. Bo Nickel throwing his overhands at range and just connecting with the more volume. That's all I really see this fight being. He's fighting another BJJ guy like Paul Craig, who's smaller than Paul Craig. He might be more built, but Rodolfo Vieira is not fast. He plots around. He's very plotty, and he's 36 years old now. Bo Nickal's getting into his prime, even though he lost to RDR, he just wasn't expecting such a physical, big guy to push on him and tire him out like he did. I don't see Rodolfo Vieira doing that. So give me Bo Nickel as the final pick, the final prediction by decision. I don't think he's going to start Rodolfo Vieira. He doesn't have power like that. He doesn't have striking ability like that. I haven't seen much development in Bo Nickal's game, but I think he'll win this fight by decision. We move on to the main card, opening up the main card. Banger. BSD, the Marauders back, boys. So Beneil Dariush versus BSD, great fight, really good fight. Beneil Dariush just missed weight by 1.5 pounds, I believe. So I think he's the only fighter that missed weight on the card. He's getting up there in age. He's 36 years old. That's a thing that plays into this. This is like the exact same ages as the last fight, actually, 36 versus 29. But I think BSD is better. I think BSD is better at this point in their careers. If this was prime Dariush, if this was 29-year-old Dariush versus 29-year-old BSD, I don't even think it'd be a question. I would be going with Beneil Dariush. But this is a Dariush that just got dropped by Moicano, got knocked out by Sarukian in the first round, got chinned by Charles Oliveira, the GOAT, in the first round. And he hasn't been looking good. He's on a decline, right? Even though he beat Moicano did not look good in that fight. He did not look good in that fight. And the difference between Moicano in that fight and Benoit Saint-Denis is Benoit has such a better finishing capability. And I know if you want to do MMA math, Renato beat Saint-Denis and Beneil beat Renato. So Beneil's going to beat Saint-Denis. You can do that all you want, but I don't see the danger on the ground that Moicano had when he had BSD on the ground, like Beneil Dariush might have Benoit Saint-Denis on the ground. I don't see Dariush slamming him with ground and pound. He missed every single ground and pound strike on Charles Oliveira in their fight. Every single one. He doesn't have that danger on the ground. So I think Benoit's going to be safe, and he's not going to get chinned on the feet. I don't see it happening. So give me BSD to win this fight. As my final prediction, I'm going to say he gets a round 2 TKO over Beneil Dariush after a very back and forth first round, scrapping it out. And I know Beneil Dariush usually gets knocked out by straight rights or straight lefts or whatever the case may be, but I can see Benoit Saint-Denis catching him with a kick, with a head kick, or with a body kick or something, and really hurting Beneil Dariush, especially since he missed weight, since he's getting up there in age. Give me Benoit Saint-Denis to get a TKO in the second round as my final pick and prediction for this one. We move on. Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Man, I was heavy on Carlos Prates, and I still am going to pick Carlos Prates, but I do see an upside for Leon Edwards. Even though Leon Edwards is washed, I believe he is washed, truly. He doesn't have the motivation. He doesn't have the urgency that he needs to have to beat a guy like Carlos Prates, who's just so dangerous. I still think Leon Edwards could do well. I don't think he's going to get knocked out in the first minute like people think he will. I think Carlos Prates, he's going to get a second round knockout. I think he's going to get a second round knockout over Leon Edwards with body shots. I said that in the quick picks video, with body shots. I just see it being a factor. The fact that Leon Edwards is very prone to those body shots. He crumples down. He doesn't protect his body. He's open for knees, open for teep kicks, open for body strikes. So I'm going to say Carlos Prates gets a second round knockout via body strikes. Just walk-off knockout with a knee or with a kick to the middle, something like that, something dangerous. So I'm going to go with Carlos Prates to get a second round knockout, but Leon Edwards could pull this one off by decision. I wouldn't be shocked if we get a crafty Leon Edwards decision in the big 2025, but I am going to go Carlos Prates as my final prediction by knockout in the second round. We move on. Sean Brady, Michael Morales, another really tough fight to predict. Really difficult fight to predict. The younger guy, Michael Morales, 26, undefeated, huge winning streak. Obviously, he's undefeated. And he's coming off one of his biggest wins in the main event, the Apex main event against, who was that? He was fighting Gilbert Burns, knocked him out in the first round. Sean Brady went 5 hard rounds with Gilbert. So it is a good look for Morales, but Sean Brady's a great grappler. Just showed that off against Leon, subbed Leon the first time Leon's ever been finished in the UFC. And Sean Brady looked really good. He looked really good, really dominant. And I have a trouble seeing Michael Morales getting Sean Brady off of him. Sean Brady's like a freaking Ninja Turtle, man. When he gets on you, he's freaking on you. Like he's clinched with you. He's on you. He's taking you down. He's smothering you. His grappling's the best in this division. Obviously there's Islam. I would love to see Islam versus Sean Brady in the future. Maybe we will. You never know. But I'm going to go Sean Brady to win this fight by decision. Again, I think the grappling is going to be too much for Michael Morales. Michael Morales, I think he'll win a round on some judges' scorecards, but I think Sean Brady will win this fight overall with the grappling, with the smothering ability that he has on the ground. I just don't see Morales being able to get back to his feet enough times and then having, the will to throw shots without being scared of getting taken down. That's going to be the big thing. Will Morales still be able to throw combinations, big combinations, without being scared of, oh shit, he's about to shoot a takedown on me? I don't think so. So I'm going to go Sean Brady to win this fight by decision as my final prediction. We move on to the co-main event. Banger between two goats of the WMMA, two goats of the women's divisions. Valentina Shevchenko defends her title against Zhang Weili for the flyweight belt. Weili's moving up. She's looking good. I think she's ready for this one. This is a very close fight. I picked Shevchenko in my quick picks. I am switching my pick to Zhang Weili. I know. This is like literally 50. I don't think anybody can have a clear cut, oh my God, this person's going to win kind of thing. To me, I see this as a 50-50. I watched Shevchenko live in Montreal. She looked really good against Fior, dropped her, broke her nose, had her bleeding like crazy, got takedowns on her. It wasn't a dominant performance like Weili's performance against Tatiana Suarez, but Shevchenko had a clear-cut win, in my opinion. And this is going to be a competitive fight. I don't see a finish here. I see this going to the judges' scorecards, but I see Weili doing just a bit more than Shevchenko at this point in their career. I think Weili's got a bit more fire under her. Shevchenko's done this, done that. She's done all of it. She's done it all at this point in her career, So I think Weili is going to have a bit more energy when we're going into those championship rounds. I think she's going to just out volume Valentina Shevchenko just a bit, just enough to get her judges score to get the judges to score her side. So I'm going to go Weili to win this fight by split decision. Maybe a unanimous decision, but I'm going to say split decision to Zhang Weili. A little bit controversial, but very close fight that people are like, okay, yeah, I think Weili won, or maybe they'll even be like, oh, that should have been unanimous or whatever, but I'm going to go Weili to win this fight by decision as the final prediction. We move on to the main event, the best main event of the year. The best main event of the year. I've just said it. I watched the press conference, the face-offs at the press conference. It was intense. It was intense, and I am so excited. I am so excited. Tomorrow night, boys, we are either going to hear Ann Still or Ann New. This is Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Two guys that are on a massive win streak, have a bunch of finishes between the two of them, who haven't lost in, I think, over like 20 years combined. Something crazy. Like if you add both the years that they haven't lost, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So I'm super hyped for this fight. And we just saw them weigh in. Both of them made weight. Jack was a little bit under 170 even, but he looked bigger. He looked bigger than Islam. And if you watched my quick picks video, I picked Jack Della Maddalena, and I am still picking Jack Della Maddalena. The JDM train is coming, boys. I think Islam can win this fight. I'm not going to count out Islam. I'm not going to be one of those guys that's like, okay, Jack Della Maddalena by TKO, like guarantees winning, like, or I'm going to go Islam by sub. Like, there's people like that, but I'm not saying that. This is competitive. It's a close fight. Jack's the younger fighter, in his prime, in his physical prime at this point. He looks great at 170. He looks like the bigger fighter out there. We're going to see on fight night, but Islam's prep for 170. Hey, man, Creatine Islam is crazy work. Creatine Islam's crazy. He could find a finish over Jack. Don't get me wrong. He could sub him, but I don't see that happening. I think Jack's done a good amount of work in the gym with Craig Jones, with Volkanovski, working on his ground game. He looked great against Bilal in Montreal. He looked great. Stuffed the takedowns. When he was on bottom, stayed very composed, didn't stick his neck out to get caught by any submissions. I know that Bilal's not chucking any out there. Islam is, but JDM's super defensively sound on the ground, waits for his moment, explodes to the feet, and then does the more damage to win the rounds. That's what it's going to come down to. I think in that Poirier fight, we saw Islam struggle with the damage, with the durability. He was getting tired late. He was able to catch Poirier in that submission. He could do that to JDM, but I think JDM is going to deal the damage to the body. The body shots are going to be so key in this fight to tire out Islam, not let him have the pressure that he usually has when he chucks up those submission attempts, not let him get that squeeze off, get his takedowns off. He'll be tired. He won't be able to get those takedowns in the championship rounds. I think 5 rounds is better for JDM. He looked great against Bilal through 5 rounds. Islam through 5 rounds with Poirier looked tired. He got an early finish over Renato Moicano. Easy win. Poirier, old, easy win. Okay, I'm not going to call Poirier an easy win, but for Islam, it should have been easier than it was, in my opinion. Poirier's been subbed by Khabib. He's been subbed by Charles. He got subbed by both of them easier than he did with Islam. So Islam went to war with Poirier. I think JDM would finish Poirier early with body shots, man. All I'm going to say, man, I'm not trying to glaze like crazy, but I'm going to go Jack Della Maddalena as the final prediction by decision. 48-47, close decision, back and forth through the rounds. People are like, oh, I don't know, that round was close. Who are we giving it to? Who are we giving it to? I could see a robbery decision, man. It seems like the crowd's on the side of Islam. I would hate it if we saw a robbery decision, but I think JDM is going to win this fight off the damage, based off the damage, getting back to his feet. Even if he loses 3 minutes of ground control time, he gets back to his feet those next 2 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. He's going for it. He's going for it. He's nonstop. So I'm going to go Jack Della Maddalena to win this fight by decision. My final pick, my final prediction for UFC 322. Those are all my final picks and predictions for this entire card. One of, if not the best card of the year. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop it down in the comments who you guys are picking in the main event, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you.